Welcome to this explainer. All right, I want you to imagine this for a second. You're walking through a park. The grass is just incredibly green. You can actually feel the breeze on your face, and you're chatting with an old friend. But suddenly, it hits you. Something is completely impossible here. It's the middle of winter in the real world. And this friend? They live in an entirely different country. Boom. In a flash, you realize you're asleep. But here's the crazy part. You don't wake up. Instead, you keep your waking memory, and you suddenly have the power to control the entire plot of your sleep. It's an absolutely awe-inspiring experience, and in this explainer, we're going to give you the exact step-by-step playbook to make it happen tonight. So, here's our action plan for today. First, we'll cover 3 techniques for tonight. Second, we'll go over 5 common beginner mistakes. And third, the pre-sleep checklist. Let's get right into it. Okay, let's start by defining what we're actually aiming for here. Look, lucid dreaming isn't just having a really vivid dream. It actually requires 3 specific things. First, you have to understand that everything happening around you is, in fact, a dream. Second, you can do whatever you want. And no, you don't teleport to a new body or anything like that. You stay right where you are, but suddenly you can taste ice cream, smell the flowers, or literally change the scenery to anywhere you want, real or totally imaginary. And third, you retain your memory of reality. You actually remember where your physical body is sleeping, what you have to do at work tomorrow, and even the name of your pet. It's wild. All right, section 1, 3 techniques for tonight. We're talking highly practical methods for immediate results. Our very first method is simple, but man, is it effective. It's called the Wake Up Back to Bed method, or WBTB. Here's how it works. As you get into bed, set an alarm for exactly 5 hours from right now. When that alarm goes off, you have to get out of bed. Now, I know your brain is going to be begging you to stay under the warm covers, but you've got to push through. Get up for about 10 to 20 minutes. Go to the bathroom, get some fresh air, maybe read a book about dreams. Then go back to sleep with the absolute firm intention that you're going to realize you're dreaming. So why does this actually work? Well, after 5 hours of sleep, you're placed right before the phase of the night that's absolutely packed with rapid eye movement, which means the most vivid dreams. Moving on to the second technique, reality testing. This is actually a habit you build up during the day. You're basically training yourself to look for strange, illogical things in your daily life. You know, like someone wearing a bizarre costume, a bright convertible driving in a massive downpour, or a startlingly loud noise. Whenever you notice something weird, test your reality. The absolute best way to do this? Just pinch your nose shut and try to breathe through it. In real life, obviously, the air is blocked completely. But in a dream world, you don't actually need a physical nose to breathe. So, if you pinch your nose and you can still effortlessly breathe in air, congratulations, you are dreaming. Another super powerful visual reality test is simply checking your hands. Stop and ask yourself, am I asleep right now? And look closely at your palms and your fingers. In dreams, hands are notoriously unstable. They might look kind of transparent, warp in shape, or you might even have 6 or 7 fingers. But here's the catch, and this is absolutely crucial. You have to do these reality tests 15 or more times a day. If you only do it twice a day, it's literally like doing 2 push-ups and expecting to wake up with a six-pack. It just won't work. You have to build this mental habit so deeply that it naturally carries over into your sleep. And then we have our third technique, which is often called the lazy intention method. As you're lying in bed just before sleep, spend about 5 to 10 minutes visualizing yourself becoming lucid in a dream. Then just repeat this powerful mantra to yourself over and over. Tonight, when I see a dream, I will understand it is a dream, and a lucid dream will begin. As you say it, visualize your hands right in front of your eyes. You're essentially programming your subconscious here. It's kind of like making a mental note to pick up milk at the grocery store. You might totally forget about it all night long, but the very moment the dream actually starts, your brain is going to remember the instruction. Moving into section 2, 5 common beginner mistakes. Basically, we're going to troubleshoot your practice so you don't fall into the usual traps. All right, if you try these techniques but hit a brick wall, it's probably because of one of these errors. First up, expecting instant magic. While it's absolutely possible to succeed tonight, you gotta remember this is a skill, kind of like learning to drive a car. Second, skipping the dream journal. Third, consuming caffeine or heavy food late at night. Fourth, trying way too hard and bringing tension into your practice. And fifth, skepticism and doubt. If you go into this thinking, oh, this is never gonna work, well, your subconscious is gonna agree with you, and that pretty much guarantees failure. Let's zoom in on mistake number 2 for a second, because keeping a dream journal, it's not optional. Trying to have lucid dreams without recording your regular dreams is exactly like a basketball player showing up to the court without sneakers. You simply cannot play the game. The more dreams you write down immediately after you wake up, the faster your brain learns to prioritize dream memory. And that right there is the absolute foundation of lucidity. Also, diet plays a massive role in this. Drinking energy drinks or a coffee right before bed creates this heavy, dark cloud over your sleep architecture. It completely shatters those delicate, rapid eye movement phases where lucidity actually happens. Same goes for eating a heavy, fatty meal late at night, like fried chicken or potatoes. It forces your body to redirect a massive amount of energy just toward digesting that food while you sleep. Everything slows down. So instead of a clear, bright, lucid dream, you're way more likely to just experience exhaustion, a rumbling stomach, and honestly, nightmares. Okay, section 3, the pre-sleep checklist. Think of this as your exact launch sequence for tonight. Let's build your perfect sleep environment. On the done side, you've got to eliminate all screens 1 full hour before bed. That glowing light completely halts your natural melatonin production. Plus, scrolling through short videos forces your brain into this exhausting cycle of rapid-fire decisions. Swipe or stay, swipe or stay. It totally overstimulates your mind right when it needs to be powering down. On the do side, if you absolutely need a snack, grab a piece of banana, some kiwi, or a handful of nuts like cashews. Pair that with a nice calming herbal tea like chamomile, and you're perfectly setting the stage. Next up on the checklist is the number 10. Grab your dream journal and physically write down the phrase, "I will realize I am dreaming today," exactly 10 times. Don't type it, actually write it out. Physically doing this anchors the intention super deeply into your subconscious mind, heavily priming you for success right as your eyes close. Now, fast forward to tomorrow morning. This step is incredibly crucial. When you wake up, whatever you do not jump out of bed. Do not immediately grab your phone to check messages. If you move around abruptly, you can instantly wipe the fragile memory of a successful lucid dream right out of your mind. Instead, just lie perfectly still for 5 minutes. Let your mind drift back into the feelings and the images of the night. You might actually find you did have a lucid dream, but you just needed a quiet moment to pull that memory back to the surface. Before we wrap this up, I have to give you one final critical warning. Actually achieving lucidity, that's really only half the battle. Never enter a lucid dream with empty thoughts. If your only goal is just, "I want to realize I'm dreaming," well, the second you look at your hands and realize it's a dream, your goal is met. The sheer excitement of it will shock your system, and you'll literally wake up in 1 second. To actually stay inside the dream, you have to have a pre-planned activity to anchor your focus. So, you've got the playbook, you know the techniques, you know the pitfalls to avoid, and you have the exact checklist to run through before your head hits the pillow. But to make this work and actually stay inside the dream world, you need a mission. So I'm going to leave you with this challenge. Decide right now, where will you go? Who are you going to talk to? What will you do in your dream tonight?